Hi there, I'm Jeff Richard, the creative director of Chaosium Inc.
And I am Jason Durall, the line editor for the game called RuneQuest, which we are talking about today.
Today we're going to talk about the first part of the name RuneQuest, which is the runes.
The runes.
This is the first version of RuneQuest that actually has brought the runes, which are the magical archetypes behind the setting, the cosmic code of Glorantha, and brought that into the play experience.
Right. I mean, they're sort of the building blocks of the universe itself. I mean, everything is deep down the runes, connected to the runes. And yet, this is where we really get into how can players interact with those and how can they be a part of my character.
Right. And one of the things that early on in the design process on this is we wanted to have the runes be something that function on several levels for the character. They obviously are going to be tied into how your character deals with the gods, but they also will have a strong effect upon your character's psychology and goals. Right. So for instance, if you have a character that is strongly associated with the storm rune, the air rune, your character is going to have a psychological predisposition towards the violence and the turmoil of air and storm, whereas a character that is strongly linked with the fire rune will be more towards the heavens and more towards the purity of fire and so forth.
Right. In some ways, these are almost like how we people of Earth would think of zodiac signs as being very strong definers of your personality and your character types. They aren't all encompassing, but they, like, you can meet somebody, and if you happen to believe in astrology, you would go, oh, that person's a strong Sagittarius. Or you would hear somebody's birthday, and you would come preloaded with ideas about how they behave and what they believe.
Oh yeah, very much so. I mean, zodiac, tarot, etc. All of that had a conceptual impact on how we approach the runes. And on your character sheet, there will be 3 types of runes that appear on the sheet. The first is the elemental runes, and this is done as a wheel of the 5 elements around the 6th element of moon, and these are air and fire and darkness and water and earth, and then all locked into a wheel with the moon in the center. And these are your character's physical makeup.
Right. And unlike Zodiac, where you have one defining characteristic, in this you've got a number of them, and
yes,
you can be rated in all of them, in fact.
Well,
eventually.
And what you track is what runes you're most strongly linked to. So you might have a character that's very strongly linked to the air rune, but very weakly linked to the fire rune, for example. And then the next set of runes you have is the power runes. And this is a series of 4 pairs of opposed runes. So if you're familiar, in some ways they're kind of like the personality traits in Pendragon, if you're familiar with those.
Right, where you would have brave on one side and cowardly on the other, and you had a rating that put you somewhere in between.
Right, so exactly. And in RuneQuest, you've got death and life, you've got change and stasis, you've got truth and illusion, and you have disorder and harmony. And these are deep magical archetypes in the setting.
Right, and you're either in the middle or you favor one or the other, and as you advance in one, the other one decreases.
Exactly. So if you want to focus on becoming very strong in the death rune, your life rune will always
much lower. Yeah.
The final set of runes is if you're playing a human, which is the
and in the core book, everyone will be humans, but
we have a final pair of runes, which is man and beast. And so man is how strong your character is attuned to being a member of society. towards human institutions, towards ancestor worship, towards being concerned about your lineage and other human affairs. And beast is more instinctive.
Right.
It's
just animal existence, survival.
And again, those are also done as a polarity. Now, there are other runes that exist within the setting that don't appear on your character sheet.
Like, for example, would an elf fall between? Would they have man and beast?
No, they would have man and plant.
Ooh,
because the Gloranthan elves are tied to the plant rune, and they are technically speaking members of the vegetable kingdom and not the animal kingdom.
All right.
But there are a number of other important runes that don't appear on your character sheet, and that's these are things that appear in different contexts.
Right, and as the game line develops, we'll be introducing other runes and allowing player characters, adventurers as we call them, to start mastering those and exploring the world of RuneQuest and the runes that make up the world as they continue through play.
Right, and so the runes basically appear in play in three very important contexts. They, as discussed in the previous episode, they are used to augment your ability,
right,
or any ability that falls within the ambit of that rune.
Right. So, if, for example, you wanted to hide something or be deceitful, you would use the illusion rune.
Well, exactly. Whereas, on the other hand, if you are trying to fight furiously with your sword, you might call upon the air rune. Or if you wanted to swim, you might call upon the water rune as an augment. But they also affect your character's personality as a type of personality trait. But most importantly, they really determine what you can do in terms of rune magic, because the ability to join a cult is dependent upon you having sufficient strength in specific runes.
Right.
And you call upon those runes to cast your spells.
Right, so it's sort of a supporting cycle in that you have to have a certain degree of loyalty towards a rune in order to get into a cult and have them teach you their magic. And then when you use that magic, you get better with that rune. Yeah. So, which leads to, I guess, advancement within the cult, which is going to be the topic of another of our exciting little videos.
Exactly. Thank you very much.